What's going on, you guys? Wookiees, and more Wookiees. So we're going to be talking Wookiees today for Legion. Now, these were actually announced during Gen Con at the in-flight brief. I hadn't actually done a video to kind of talk about their announcement yet because I was kind of drowned in so much other information. And so while these didn't necessarily fall under my radar, I just hadn't gotten around to them yet. So I figured I would just sit down and let's actually talk about these Wookiees because it's going to be cool. It's going to be really cool, and you can have a big old army of Wookiees. Although technically you won't be able to run exclusively Wookiees. You'll have to have at least some humans in there as well. But I think you can have a pretty good human-Wookiee mix. So first thing we're going to talk about is Chewbacca, of course. Seems like, instead of, a lot of people were thinking that Palpatine was going to come out and then the next Rebel hero they were going to announce was going to be another Force user, either like maybe an Obi-Wan or a Yoda, but surprise, surprise, it's Chewbacca, and it seems like Chewbacca is more of the counterpart to Boba Fett in that he's an operative, whereas, maybe that means that we're going to get a Force user soon. Maybe that means that they're just staggering, releases all over the place, but either way, it's good to see more principal characters actually show up. And the sculpt looks pretty good too, although it's kind of hard to screw up Chewbacca. He's very, very similar. They already had molds and stuff for Imperial Assault. As a matter of fact, a lot of these Wookiees look like they use the exact same design from Imperial Assault, just with new poses and a slightly larger scale. So let's take a look at what we see out of what we can get with Chewbacca. So first off, you're going to notice he is an operative. You're going to get your first Rebel operative token here, so that's kind of cool. And as an operative, he's going to have his own commands. Now, previously, operatives have only been able to issue orders to themselves, as what was we've seen out of the previews of Boba Fett. But this one, because he's got a teamwork ability to work with Han, the article does state that his command cards will feature synergies with Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, and Leia Organa. So that is exciting. So I'm interested to see those when they do show off, do the more in detailed Chewbacca preview. But based off what we can see right here, we've got a card looks like called Tenacity, which is one of the new training upgrades. It looks like it costs 4. And it's difficult to make it all out. It looks like while performing a melee attack, all of your unrivaled something unless you add a red attack die maybe to your attack pool. So that's nice. I can't quite make it out perfectly, and I don't want to get it wrong. We'll see it. We'll see it in a little bit more clarity when the article comes out. But for Chewie's card, we can make this out just a little bit more. So he does have 9 health, which is great because you're gonna definitely see a lot. He does have the white defense die though, and that's okay. Chewie's not necessarily armored, so I totally get that. Doesn't have defensive surge. Again, he's not necessarily armored, so I get that. But he does have offensive surge to crit, and that's very, very nice, especially considering his bowcaster is rolling 4 dice. So, and he's got impact 1 and pierce 1. Chewie's going to be effective at shooting vehicles. So that's going to be nice. Not necessarily, taking them down all by himself, but, adding to that. He'll be effective at shooting just about everything. I mean, you're getting 2 red dice for attack, which is great. Now, so it looks like a 1 to 3 weapon. And in the white dice, honestly, with surge to crit die, white dice aren't that bad because you're going to get your crit, you're going to get your hit, and you're going to get your surge. So you have a 3 out of 8 chance. You have a 2 out of 8 chance to get a crit through, which is going to bypass your cover. So it'll be effective at shooting through cover as well. He's got 4 red dice from melee, and by the way, he still gets to apply his surge to those red dice, so he can still punch through certain armored vehicles, which is going to be really, really fun. Let's look at he's speed 2, so pretty good speed. And I can't make out his points, but he's definitely it's at least 100. I don't know if it's 130, 190, 110, or just an even 100. I can't quite make out the middle number on there, but it's definitely 3 digits. It starts with a 1. Now he has Enrage 4, looking at his abilities. While you have 4 or more wound tokens, treat your courage as nil. And you gain something else. But yeah, so he's gonna lose. So he can't run away. And he gains something else. I can't exactly make out what that is. He also has Expert Climber, which makes sense. The Wookiees are going to be able to climb. Guardian 3, which is going to be nice. Now, so we've already seen Guardian 1, and it looks like the Royal Guards are going to have Guardian for the Empire, but Chewie's going to have Guardian 3, which is a really nice way for him to take hits for somebody else, especially to trigger his Enrage. So that is nasty, and I think he gains Charge with Enrage 4. I think that word is Charge at the end there. Yeah, and that makes sense too. That's thematic. You have him take a couple of wounds for other people, save other people's lives, and then he gains Charge, and then he moves in melees for free. And also, while he's in melee, by the way, you can't shoot him, if he's meleeing other troops or whatever. So that's just a good internal synergy. So Guardian 3 is real nice. And then he has Teamwork with Han Solo. And while you are at range 1 to 2 of Han Solo, whenever they gain a dodge token or an aim token, the other one is going to gain the same thing, which is really nice. I like that teamwork ability, and it seems like it's written in a way that it could be applied to other characters. So in theory, you could have maybe one of his command cards will also give him teamwork with Leia or teamwork with Luke or whatever. It's it's got the colon in there, so it's just a keyword that could apply to a lot of other stuff, which is good because you do have a lot of characters that in theory could have teamwork with each other. Maybe Lando will show up someday and we'll get some teamwork with Lobot or something like that. And then Unhindered, you ignore the effects of difficult terrain, which is good, especially for somebody that's got charge or that can gain charge. You're going to want them to be able to hide behind a barricade until they're ready and then just go. Barricades are some of the nicest ways to use environmental gear or anything to give you Unhindered. It's really nice to be able to just dash right through that barricade. It'd be really cool if we got some really speedy troopers with charge at speed 3 too, but that might be a little bit broken. So pretty cool looking Wookiee here, but we do get a close-up at his 3-pip, and this is, by the way, whoever is this artist, phenomenal job. I want you to do a completely animated Star Wars movie using this kind of art. Like that's just insane. Would love that. Anyway, 3-pip is Chewbacca. It's Chewbacca and Han Solo. So Chewbacca is issuing an order to himself and Han Solo, which is interesting because I didn't think operatives would actually be able to do this, but apparently it is potentially something that can happen. So you choose one of Han Solo's command cards in your discard pile. Return that card to your hand. So that's nice. So if Han is with Chewie, he can play that 0-pip first. And I've already run Han in one of my battle reports. That 0-pip is very, very strong, especially when you're playing objectives and you've absolutely positively got to go first. But now this is a situation where you could absolutely positively go first 2 different times in the same game. So very, very cool. I'm digging it. It just makes Han just that much better. Overall, I wasn't really that thrilled with Han's cards. His 3-pip was interesting in that you could make somebody, redo the whole step. So I guess that if you could get that back again, it might give it a little bit more. And maybe that's a good thing that Han's cards aren't like super overpowered, because of the fact that Han himself is pretty good. But also, if you were going to be able to use some again potentially, then I can see we don't want to make them like Son of Skywalker, that level good. And then all of a sudden you get to do it twice and and run away with the game. So I think it shows some good foresight here because this is working well here. I can see this being good. And we've got our Wookiee warriors, dude. All right, so these guys look a lot like the ones that you've seen in Imperial Assault. You've got your bowcaster one in the back there. That's your heavy weapon guy. And I think this is the leader with the blade raised above his or her head. I don't know if any of these are are female, right? Like I don't even know how you tell the difference, because in the Christmas special, didn't Mala look pretty much just like all the other Wookiees? It's not like you're gonna see a Wookiee with lipstick, right? So we're gonna say this is an all-female squad of Wookiees, but just because that's what I'm deciding. But if you're a Wookiee expert and you actually know, let me know. Maybe is it a fur coloration thing? Are females more gray? Be kind of cool if you were gonna like paint up your Wookiees different and make them, Anyway, that's beside the point. Let's talk about these Wookiees. Very excited for a number of reasons. One of the reasons that I'm so excited about these Wookiees is the fact that it's another Special Forces option. So that much is super cool. I just love the idea of being able to have, variety and kind of changing up what you really want to, what you want to build, because right now in Legion there's not that much build diversity, and so as we get more and more options for each type, it really is going to change it up. And I love the fact that Special Forces are just now coming out. There was the early release at Gen Con. We have to wait a little bit longer for the Imperials to get them, but then once we have options of Special Forces, it's really going to change things up. So I'm very much happy with this. So let's take a look at what we can see. So it looks like they have a bowcaster Wookiee, which is you're going to be the heavy weapons guy, or gal, and they add a red and a white, and it gains impact 1 and pierce. So, and that's going to apply to the whole thing. So that's not bad. Again, it's honestly it's really not bad, because like look at the unit card themselves. They're getting 2 dice per miniature, which is not bad. But it's only range 2, so kind of similar to Fleet Troopers. Not super great. You don't get the defensive surge that the Fleet Troopers do, but they're not super expensive. They're only 75 points, but you're only getting 3 normally in a unit, so you're getting less. However, considering the fact that they have health of 3 per mini, well, now you've got a force. Now you got somebody, especially if you add the heavy weapons. Now it's almost a requirement. Now it's 35 points for that bowcaster Wookiee. So you're over 100 points now. So way more expensive than Fleet Troopers. Right away, no question. Way more expensive. But look how much health that is. That's 12 health. It's a lot of health if you fully outfit them. So that's pretty cool. And they have 2 black dice for melee. Again, that's not bad. Having 2 dice per miniature and a unit that can have 4 miniatures is not bad at all. The bowcaster looks like he does extend to range 3, whereas the regular unit's range 2, so that's another advantage of having that bowcaster in there. For 1, you can split fire, and then for 2, you do have at least 1 shot at long range if you need to, so you won't completely waste the opportunity. But let's look at the keyword on these Wookiees. The keywords are, now they're speed 2, they've got charge. So charge is just great, especially for somebody that doesn't have the best defense and is relying on hit points. You want them to just rush in there and jump into melee and bang stormtrooper heads together. And with 2 black dice per miniature, they can do that. They can take two wounds on the way in and still continue to keep charging without losing any miniatures and still be able to roll all of their dice. That much is cool. They do have Expert Climber. They have Indomitable, which says during the rally step, roll red defense dice instead of white. So it'll be pretty hard to make these guys panic, because when they rally, which is as soon as you activate, this is the first thing you do is you do the rally step. Basically, you roll white dice, and if you get any ink, basically, so a defense or a surge, you remove 1 suppression for each ink that you roll. So they get to roll red, so they have a 4 out of 6 chance. So they're probably going to lose all of their suppression as soon as they rally, or almost all of it. So they have a really, really good chance of that, which is great. And then Unhindered. So similar to Chewbacca in that they can climb, they can just get wherever they need to go. They're speed 2, so they're kind of fast as well. A lot of really good stuff here. They it looks like they have tenacity in there and some kind of fragmentation. And it looks like a Death Trooper on that art, which is really, really cool. Have you seen that card? Is that a Death Trooper? That's really cool. Again, that doesn't mean anything, because we've seen things teased in art before, and it doesn't necessarily mean anything. But And they reuse some of this art too. As a matter of fact, there's a recon card in the back there that's the same art as Datapad from Destiny, so that's cool. But it's nice to see art get reused. Plus, I'm sure they probably pay a lot for this art. So I've talked to other artists that say, yeah, they would probably want to reuse this art as much as possible. But still, that's exciting. And these guys look really good. So how are you going to run your Wookiees? Are you going to run Han and Chewie together, or will you try? Now the problem is, if they talk about each of Chewie's command cards having a synergy with Han, Leia, and or Luke, how you can't really do them all, right? Because you can only have 2 commanders, so you can only have Han and Luke, or Han and Leia, or Luke and Leia. You can't have Han, Luke, and Leia, at least at the moment. Does this mean that we'll see some kind of rule change? Now maybe we'll see. If you're running, I haven't run any 1600 point battles yet. I think the numbers generally go higher for those, so maybe you can run 3 commanders in there. I'd have to go reference the rule book again. But maybe Chewie would be really good for those larger scale games. Or do you think maybe there'll be something that lets you take an extra commander at some point? Or maybe we'll even see an operative of versions of these other characters, or a commander version of Chewie. I could see Han being an operative. I don't really see Leia as being an operative. However, if Leia were in her Bouche disguise, could totally see her being an operative there. Or, of course, Jedi Luke would make the perfect operative, because when he was in his Jedi robes, or his black, episode 6 outfit, he was pretty much doing his own thing the whole time anyway. He wasn't really commanding troops in that outfit. So I would think that would make the most sense, is to have the green lightsaber Luke as the operative. That's what I would like to see. And the cool thing about that is that would allow you to have the whole gang of 4 all together, since you can have 2 commanders and 2 operatives. I think that would be one way to do it. Of course, the other way to do it you could always house rule it, or you could just go for a 1600 point game and increase your numbers of everything that you can have. Again, not 100% sure off the top of my head the commander limit for a 1600 point game. But then again, if you're going to go big, you can house rule it too. I mean, this game lends itself very well to casual games. So let me know what you think, guys. So that's the Wookiees. Are you excited? If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Don't forget to check out Crabbok.com. I've recently actually updated my About page with some extra links there, and linking the different sites that can give you some more detailed information on a lot of these games. So I've done that. Also, if there's a site that you think should be mentioned, let me know. But I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and again, have a great day.